All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the most expensive Pokemon card auctions of the week. This is the most recent auction to have concluded, which would have been Sunday, July 28th. I was just looking at my calendar down there. And yeah, there's some really nice graded cards, slabs, collection pieces that went up for auction and sold for very high amounts. Really excited to take a look. This is obviously the list compiled by, or the auction site that we're using is Fanatics Collect, which is previously PWCC Marketplace. And yeah, these are the most expensive auctions for Sunday, lot number 132. Let's go ahead and take a look at them right now. All right, so starting off at number 24, we're looking at the 24 most expensive auctions. We have this 2004 Pokemon Japanese Clash of the Blue Sky holographic Latios Gold Star. So this is the Japanese version of Latios Gold Star. Very beautiful card. I personally love Gold Star cards. I want to have as many as I can in my collection. I don't own a single one, but I'd like to change that one day. Let's take a look. This scored a PSA Gem Mint 10. Let's take a look here. Front looks pretty good. Take a look at that back. Back looks pretty slick too. Honestly, most of the Japanese cards that we're going to take a look at, they always look pretty spot on. It's the English cards that we get a little critical about. But usually the Japanese cards look fantastic, and I think that's just due to the card stock used. I just think it's more durable than the English card stock. But anyways, this card sold for $2,520. Then at number 23, we have the 2004 Pokemon EX Team Magma versus Team Aqua holographic Suicune EX card. This also scored a Gem Mint PSA 10. Beautiful card. I mean, just the EX cards in general, they have an amazing border with that Cosmo holographic pattern. You have the EX obviously in the name, so it kind of gives it that much more flair. This is Suicune, so it's one of the 3 legendary dogs. Let's go ahead and take a look. This is obviously an English card, so we can be a little more critical. Looking close up, so far looks good on the front. Corners look in check, so do the edges. Surface is obviously hard to tell. I don't think we'll ever be able to tell with surface. Centering looks good. And then the back, I would say it looks pretty solid. I mean, you see a little bit of whitening here and there. I mean, the bottom left corner right over here, slight bit of whitening, nothing too crazy though. Could probably pass for the PSA 10. This card sold for $2,525. I never really pointed out, but maybe the bids could be very interesting. There were 35 bids on this, so definitely a lot more people interested in this card than the most previous one. All right, then at number 22, we have the 1999 Pokemon base set holographic Charizard, which scored a CGC Gem Mint 10. So this is the classic holo Charizard from base set. Doesn't get more iconic than this with Pokemon cards, right? This is the almost everybody's chase card if it were the year 2020, right? But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Takes a little bit to load here. We have the Charizard, looks pretty slick. Front looks good. I always feel like the centering isn't, or it's always relatively decent. I feel like on WotC cards, just because they had their printing a little more in check, but got a CGC 10. Let's take a look at the back. Back definitely looks pretty crisp. I mean, maybe a little bit of whitening there, nothing too crazy. Back looks crisp. I would definitely say this is a CGC 10. Definitely, yeah, a nice card. Sold for another $2,520. So same as the previous two, except this one had 40 bids, which is a good bit more than the previous two as well. Then at number 21, we have the 2007 Pokemon Battle Road Spring winner Mysterious Pearl card. Scored a BGS 9.5. Let's take a closer look at this. This is a Japanese trainer card. It is a prize card, so that makes it pretty unique. Usually the prize cards sell for a good bit of money too. So what I like about BGS is we can actually see the subgrades. Centering got a 9.5, corners got a 9.5, edges got a 9, and the surface got 10. Let's take a look here. I mean, yeah, centering looks pretty solid. Can't really see too much on the front over here. Let's take a look at the back. I don't really remember what it said. I mean, yeah, you can see a little bit of edge wear for sure, unless that's from the case, but I feel like I'm seeing a little bit up here, a little bit of edge wear at the top. Down below, nothing too crazy. Yeah, probably just at the top, assuming that's from the card. But even a Gem Mint 9.5 is pretty incredible. And overall, this card sold for $2,760 and received 29 bids. Then at number 20, we have the 2005 Pokemon Japanese Promo Spring Challenge Holographic Rockets Persian EX. This also scored a PSA 10. So yeah, this is the Japanese version of Rockets Persian. I assume it comes from the Here Comes Team Rocket equivalent, or Japanese equivalent, or Team Rocket Returns, not Here Comes Team Rocket. Team Rocket Returns, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at this Persian. Again, scored a PSA 10. Awesome looking card with the red accents there. I'm sure those are the holographic bits of the picture. Looks good. It's a promo card, quite obviously. Front looks pretty solid, and as for the back, I would say back looks pretty solid too. I mean, you probably have a little bit of whitening, but I guess you could probably get away with the PSA 10 on this card. And this card sold for $2,880 and received 44 bids. At number 19, we have the 2002 Japanese E-Card Promo Holographic Charizard, which also scored a PSA Gem Mint 10. Taking a look at the card, it's obviously from the e-reader sort of era, which is just chef's kiss, beautiful. And then you have this unique looking Charizard. It's definitely different from the usual WotC artwork we see, which I think makes it that much more unique. Let's go ahead and take a look, a little bit of a closer look. Awesome looking card, simply fantastic. And then we'll take a look at the back. And again, just because it's Japanese, I just feel like, again, the card stock is just made so much better. It can withstand so much damage, destruction, right? It's awesome. It holds so nicely. This card sold for $3,000 and received a total of 35 bids. Then at number 18, we have the 1999 Pokemon Base Set Shadowless First Edition Holographic Venusaur. Base Set Shadowless First Edition. That's just the perfect setup for success when it comes to a graded card, especially when it scores a PSA 10, but this one did not. It scored a PSA 9. So let's take a look at a little bit closer look at Venusaur. I think Venusaur might be the least expensive of the big three. The OG big three, I think it's the least expensive. Do not quote me on that though, but I'm pretty sure it is. And then, yeah, I mean, taking a look, I think the back is where we'll see where it gets a PSA 9. Yeah, I'm missing something here, right? I mean, it looks like it's a PSA, but okay, yeah, you know what? It's the edges, I think, edges and corners, but mostly edges. If you take a look, a little bit of whitening here, top right, the edge in the top left area is kind of binged. The top left along the, whoops, I didn't even realize we could do that. Yeah, you can just kind of see though, this card is a little bit of damage to it, not much. Probably why it got the 10. Sold for $3,000 and there were 27 bids on it. Then at number 17, we have an absolute beautiful masterpiece, in my opinion. Gold stars. If we see gold stars, I'm all in. I'm all in. We have the 2007 Pop Series 5 Espeon Gold Star. If I recall correctly, Espeon and Umbreon are the only ones to not be holographic, I'm pretty sure, of the Gold Star Pokemon. And I think that's because they come from the Pop Series. No, there's a few in the Pop Series, right? I don't recall. Don't quote me on that. It might be because they're from the Pop Series, though. I don't think the Pop Series had holographics, but you know what? I could be wrong. I'm going to stop talking. I actually don't recall. You can feel free to critique me down below, but let's go ahead here. Take a look at the Espeon centering 10. So BGS 8.5, by the way. Centering 10. Yeah, why not? Corners 9, edges 8.5, and the surface got an 8. Again, surface will be just so hard to tell, but we can probably get a good look at the edges and corners, and of course centering. Centering got perfect. Yeah, I mean, take a look at that. That is interesting. An 8.5, eh? Yeah, you can definitely see on the right side here that it's got a little bit of wear and tear. It definitely shows more here, a little bit in the corner. Definitely at the bottom, eh? You can totally see a lot of whitening at the bottom. But very interesting nevertheless. Whoops. Sold for $3,120 and there were a total of 22 bids on it. Alright, at number 16, we have a 1999 base set Shadowless First Edition Red Cheeks Pikachu, which scored a PSA 10. I'm pretty sure Red Cheeks is the more rare one, the rarer one, than the Yellow Cheeks Pikachu, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I mean, take a look at that. Pikachu, pretty iconic card, iconic Pokemon, obviously, from the anime. You have Pikachu over here. Let's take a closer look. Did score a PSA 10, so we will be the external judges of that. Centering looks all right. Take a look at the back. Yeah, why not? PSA 10. Why not? I mean, It's just so tricky. I mean, what I see up here, right? If I was a grader, if I see even like a little bit of whitening, like that, to me, this is not a 10. This is not a 10. And I think if it's not packed fresh, most of these cards do not. Honestly, it probably doesn't deserve a 10, in my opinion. Obviously, it depends on the condition, but like look at that. I know you probably can't control that, but there's just, right? Unless my eyes are playing tricks on me and this is from the scanner, it just looks like there's a lot of whitening on this card, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Anyways, this card sold for $3,240 and received 28 bids. Then at number 15, we have a 1996 Japanese base set, no rarity symbol, holographic Venusaur. Venusaur returns yet again on this list. Pretty cool card. This is from the Japanese base set. You can just tell the difference in the overall card layout between Japanese and English base set. Kind of like the layout of the Japanese one a little more, but I don't know. It's just me personally. Scored a PSA 9. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at it. See what it probably got dinged on. Probably corners and edges. I mean, yeah, you can kind of tell right over here. There's some good whitening in the bottom right corner. Not a little bit in the bottom left too. Top left is hard to tell because of the flashing light that's there. And top right looks all right. But yeah, I'm not sure if you see this right over here. I don't know what I'm looking at here. I don't think that's supposed to be there. And I don't know if that's on the scanner, but that looks like it's pretty bad. If that is something, definitely, probably, if that was something, it would probably bring it lower than a 9, right? If I had to guess. This card sold for $3,240 and had 28 bids. Then at number 14, we have the 2007 Diamond and Pearl Secret Wonders holographic Charizard. This scored a PSA Gem Mint as well. This looks like it's the older PSA case too, if I'm correct. Does not look like the modern PSA case. Let's go ahead and take a closer look. You have Charizard here, Diamond and Pearl, and I guess Platinum too. They did that pretty cool and interesting 3D model kind of look to the cards where it almost looks like this is from like a Wii game, like a Nintendo Wii game. You know, I always found that kind of aesthetic, that artwork, pretty interesting. You see it a lot with base set. I think Infernape, Torterra, and Empoleon, they all kind of have the same look to it. Anyways, I'm blabbing on. This got a PSA 10. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, this is a pretty old looking one. And yeah, I mean, not bad. A little bit of whitening in the corner, top left, top right. Edges look okay. And again, I don't know what this is. Maybe I'm just too harsh. But it looks all right. It looks all right. PSA 10. This card sold for $3,360 and it received 38 bids. All right, number 13. This one's a goodie too. We have the 2002 Neo Destiny Shining Charizard. If there's another, so I love Gold Stars, and if there's a close second, it's probably the Shining Pokemon from the WotC era. Absolutely love them. Actually, sorry, I think tied for first would be Crystal Pokemon with Gold Star, and then Shining Pokemon right behind it. But let's go ahead, let's take a look at this PSA 10 Shining Charizard from Neo Destiny. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right. Centering looks good. Front looks good. Beautiful card. Absolutely love that artwork and just the darkness from the Charizard. And it looks pretty solid. I mean, I'm going to assume this is probably from the case. See, the corners actually look good here. The corners do look good. I won't be overly critiquing this card. Yeah, looks pretty spot on. Probably deserves a PSA 10. Sold for $3,480 and it received 34 bids. All right, number 12, we have the 1996 Japanese base set holographic Charizard, which scored a PSA Gem Mint 10. This is a pretty iconic looking Pokemon card for sure. Not only because it's like base set Charizard, but it's the Japanese base set, which was the first of the Charizards, so to speak, from this specific trading card game. Anyways, I digress. Let's go ahead, let's take a look. This scored a PSA 10, which means it has to be the best of the best. Look at that up close. Beautiful. I'd probably prefer to have a Japanese base set Charizard over an English base set Charizard, personally. Let's take a look at the back. Back looks good. Look at that. That looks crisp. I literally don't see an issue in sight. This is probably packed fresh, if I had to guess. Beautiful looking card. Sold for $3,600. Received a total of 22 bids. Number 11, we have a 2015. Not bad. Japanese XY Gym Promo holographic Umbreon. That is cool. That is really cool. I think this is the newest or the latest card we've had so far, which is interesting. Usually when we do these lists, there's a whole bunch of XY era cards, mainly like the trophies and prize cards and stuff, illustration cards from throughout the ages, but this is the first one so far. Let's go ahead and take a look. Scored a PSA Gem Mint 10. Look at that artwork. That is awesome. That is beautiful. I guess this is to symbolize that it's the gym promo or whatever there. Looks really good. I really like it. I mean, to think that it sold for as much as it did is pretty crazy to me. But yeah, it looks great. I mean, nothing really you could probably complain about here for PSA 10. Sold for $3,720 and received 29 bids. Alright, moving into the top 10, the 10th most expensive Pokemon card from this lot is the 2000 Gym Challenge First Edition Holographic Blaine's Charizard. Blaine's Charizard, in my opinion, I like the artwork for Blaine's Charizard better than base set, and I think my favorite is it Dark? I believe it's Dark Charizard, right? From Team Rocket? Or is it, I think it's Team Rocket? Anyways, yeah, that Dark Charizard is chef's kiss. I love it. Blaine's Charizard, close second. Definitely. Let's go ahead. PSA Gem Mint 10, first edition. That's pretty rad. Let's go ahead, take a look here. Yeah, I mean, looks pretty solid. Like I said, I feel like you don't really see centering issues too much with the WotC era cards. I feel like they nailed the centering back then. Yeah, I mean, look at that card. That looks beautiful. You really don't see any issues here. Top left looks great. Top right looks great. Bottom left looks pretty good. Bottom right looks pretty good too. I mean, yeah, as far as the PSA 10 goes, I can see it. Sold for $3,720 and it received 36 bids. Number 9, we're definitely getting a little more modern here. Well, for sure, it's from 2021. We have the 2021 Japanese Sword and Shield Eevee Heroes alternate art, Sylveon VMAX, which scored the BGS Beckett Black Label 10. Pristine 10, meaning it received a 10 on all 4 criteria of centering, edges, corners, and surface. Let's go ahead and take a look at this bad boy here. Beautiful. Wow, look at that card. I would love to have this one in my collection. Don't want to pay for it though, and probably not worth it to pull it from a pack, so we'll just keep it as a dream. But yeah, card looks great. I understand why I got the Black Label 10. Card sold for $3,840 and received a total of 39 bids. Coming in at number 8, we have the 2018 Pokemon Japanese Sun and Moon promo 17 Japanese Reward Player Ceremony. This is interesting. I'm just trying to see how that title goes together. Is this from 2017 but it was released in 2018? I'm not sure. Or is this top 17 Reward Player Ceremony? I don't know. I'm actually not sure. Anyways, beautiful card nevertheless. We'll take a look. Scored a PSA 10. Maybe if you know exactly how to read this. Japanese Sun and Moon promo 17 Champion Reward Player Ceremony. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this beautiful looking card here. It's obviously a trainer card. You have Pikachu, you got the whole squad, you have Joltik, Zorua, Cosmog, Trubbish, etc. I'm not gonna embarrass myself any further. And yeah, I mean, front looks pretty great. Feel like you shouldn't really mess up the centering on a promo card like this, right? And the back looks great too. Makes sense why it scored a PSA 10. And overall sold for $3,840 and received 50 bids. Number 7, it finally makes an appearance with the 1999 base set Shadowless First Edition Holographic Blastoise. Scored a PSA Mint 9. Let's go ahead and take a look if we can see what it would have been docked on. There could be scratches on the holographic surface, right? So we don't see much. That would probably be why, but centering looks great. Take a look at the back. Okay, that's probably why. You can tell here the edge has a little bit of wear and tear, that top edge there. Corners look pretty good though. Actually, the corners look pretty decent, but that edge, that top edge does not look great. Anyways, PSA 9 still great value, $4,320, and it received 30 bids. Then at number 6, we have the base set Shadowless First Edition Thick Stamp Holographic Charizard. Thick Stamp is definitely a newer one to me. I think I've only really discovered Thick Stamp since we've been doing this series, like what Thick Stamp is. I guess that's just exactly as it sounds, the thick first edition stamp. But let's take a look. This scored a BGS 7, and this will be interesting. See what we can look for here. Received a centering of 9, corners of 7, edges 7, surface 6. So we won't be able to see the surface very well unless there's some really obvious stuff on the back. But looking at it here, front looks all right, right? Front looks all right, but it's the back that Wow. This is a BGS 7, eh? I have cards like this where I'm so worried to send them in that they'd receive like a 4 or 5. And this gets a 7 from BGS. So I don't know. Sometimes I'm just kind of shocked. Like, I should just send them in. Who cares? Give me a 7, you know, whatever. This card is like beaten up. This is like almost worse than moderately played, in my opinion. Like, if somebody sold me this as moderately played, I don't know, I'd be a little disappointed. Like, in my opinion, moderately played is like if you get rid of the damage on two sides of the edges, and to me that's moderately played, right? This is crazy. A 7. It's the centering, eh? The centering must have bumped this card up so much. Man, anyways, sold for $5,400 and received 30 bids. All right, then number 4, we have the 2015 Japanese XY Promo Art Academy Fujishima Pikachu, which scored a PSA Gem Mint 10. Obviously, I'm not entirely sure what this card is, so we'll just have to take a closer look. This is obviously some sort of illustration from a kid or something like that made it onto this promo card, and that's pretty rad. Definitely an interesting card for sure. But it's usually the cards like these that sell for pretty good amounts of money. Funny enough, like the illustration challenges and competitions and promotions, those cards, I think because only a certain amount of them get printed. So just these cards in general, they sell for a good amount. Anyways, let's take a look. We have this PSA 10. Awesome artwork here. You have Pikachu holding an umbrella in the rain too. You'll love to see it wearing a coat and a hat. And yeah, I mean, front looks great. Back looks great too. Nothing really to critique there. So taking a look at the price, $12,600. Exactly as I was saying. Over $12,000 for this PSA 10 illustrated, like child illustrated card, which is pretty cool. And it received a total of 32 bids. All right, we're entering into the top 3 most expensive cards. This one is really interesting to me, actually. We have a 2008 Diamond Pearl Majestic Dawn Holographic Glaceon Level X, which scored a PSA Gem Mint 10. This is interesting. Usually the, I don't know, I feel like the Level X cards aren't so hard to find. And just to see that this PSA 10 sold for $21,000. I think that's really impressive to me personally. Like, a base set Charizard, I feel like, is so tricky for me to find versus like a Glaceon Level X, right? If I went to a card show, I feel like I can find this Glaceon Level X. I don't think I can find a base set Charizard though, so I don't know. I think that's interesting. But let's go ahead and take a look at the card itself. Looks decent in the front. Centering looks all right. Let's take a look at the back. Okay. All right. Excuse the face. Okay, PSA 10, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. Like, there's some whitening here in the top left corner near the edges too. A little bit whitening in the top right. A little bit, I don't know, a little bit whitening all around. Again, maybe I'm just harsh. Or maybe I just have really high standards. And all those crummy cards that I didn't want to send in, maybe I should send in. PSA 10 though, sure, why not? It's probably a weak 10 in my opinion, but it's still sold for $21,000, which is nuts, and it received 54 bids. It's probably because it's an evolution that it got carried, but still, that is insane. And the second most expensive card to be coming out of this auction list is the 1999 base set Shadowless First Edition Holographic Blastoise. We already saw one, but that was a PSA 9, and this one scored a PSA Gem Mint 10. Sold for also $21,000. Let's go ahead and check out if this is a true 10 worthy card. A very bright card. I think it's just the way this scanned, but it's very bright. Blastoise, first edition, yep. Shadowless, yep. Again, the front doesn't tell us too much. It's the back. Okay, yeah. Alright, definitely, in my opinion, this card looks a lot better than the Glaceon we looked at. I'm assuming this part here is likely from the case, so we're going to ignore that. Yeah, bottom right, not too bad. A little white speck there. Bottom left, not bad. A little bit of lifting. Not top right and top left, though. Those look excellent. Yeah, definitely more deserving of a 10 in my opinion. It sold for $21,000 like I just said, and it received a total of 39 bids. And here we are, the most expensive Pokemon card for the PWCC / Fanatics Collect auction lot. What is this, 132? 131? I actually don't remember. I'm gonna be honest, but nevertheless, 132. The 1999 base set Shadowless first edition holographic Charizard scored a PSA 9 mint, and yeah, sold for $2,300. Sorry, $23,400. Received 39 bids. Got a PSA 9. Let's see what a PSA 9 is, shall we, everybody? Let's see what a PSA 9 is. All right, front looks good. Why not? Can't really tell what's going on with the surface. And for the back, okay. Okay, I have to go back to that Glaceon. We'll do that in just a second. This looks almost better than the Glaceon, and this scored a 9. The only thing I can think of is, like, look at this border down here. This looks massive. The maybe the centering is what really dinged it. And you know what? We can't see surface. We cannot see surface. So maybe there's some holographic scratching or something like that. But without being able to see surface, I genuinely don't see a difference between... Let me show you. So this is the Glaceon, right? Look at this top left corner. Look at this right corner. Look at this bottom left. Look at this bottom right. And then this is the Charizard. There has to be an issue with the surface. I just don't know what it is. I can't see it, so I can't tell. There has to be a surface issue. But nevertheless, sold for $23,400 and received 39 bids. Alright, so those were the most expensive Pokemon card auctions of the week. These were the top 24. This is for Sunday auction number 132, which concluded on Sunday the 28th of July. Pretty awesome. A lot of really nice cards. A lot of the base set trio. We saw a lot of Blastoise, a lot of Venusaur, a lot of Charizard. Some pretty cool cards. But yeah, usually we see a lot more X and Y era promo cards. Surprised we didn't see as many this time around. Saw a few, but nothing too crazy. But I love doing this because it really, first of all, it helps me seeing what I should submit for grading, right? I see all these cards. I think that 7. There was a horrible 7. I think it was that Charizard. I don't remember what it was. There was a BGS 7 that looked horrible, and it got a 7 from BGS. That would have been like a PSA 9 or something like that, right? That is insane. Just I love doing this because it shows me what I can get away with, what I could submit, right? But I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too harsh, right? Probably, honestly, probably. It's probably a me issue. But there you have it, everybody. That concludes the auctions. Let me know what you thought of them down below. Until next time, I'll catch you in the next one.